conned into watching the show that's ranked number 10. Because it seems that crime really does pay for the animal we thought was the most extreme, cheat.
How would you like it if your baby was swapped for an infant that grows much, much bigger? That's just what would happen if you were tricked by the biggest cheat in the countdown. You'd raise a baby that grows 10 times bigger than you are. So spare a thought for birds that are conned by the cuckoo. The scam begins when a female cuckoo raids the nest of a poor little reed warbler. First, she has to get rid of a warbler egg. Then, she replaces the warbler egg by laying one of her own. The cuckoo's egg, sitting at the front of the nest, is so well disguised that it fools the reed warbler into believing it's one of her own. But the con doesn't end there, because baby cuckoos are nasty. As soon as it hatches, the cuckoo chick will get rid of all the competition. And it does it right under its foster mom's nose. And then it literally eats its parents out of house and home. The poor reed warblers end up feeding a baby that's 10 times heavier than they are. But the warblers have no choice, because this baby is linked to the mob. Mobsters were big in Chicago in the 1920s. His business card may have read second-hand furniture dealer, but in reality, Al Capone was a gangster. He ruled Chicago, because if you messed with Capone, he messed with you. Scientists discovered that cuckoos are the Capones of the bird world when researchers removed cuckoo eggs from magpie nests. A few days later, they returned to find more than half the nests completely destroyed by the cuckoo mafia. It seems that cuckoos make birds an offer they can't refuse. Take care of my baby, or suffer the consequences.
In our countdown of the most popular episodes of The Most Extreme, we've dealt with some pretty tough customers. From cuckoo con artists to mother-murdering sea lice. But still to come, on our way to reveal the best of the best, is an animal that's so strong it can lift 800 times its own weight. And there's one unusual male that knows what it's like to be pregnant. That's next on Animal Planet's most extreme countdown ever. This is the best of the best. Our countdown of the most popular episodes of The Most Extreme continues with number 9. Viewers were obviously impressed with the extraordinary dedication of the animal that we chose to be the number 1 most extreme dad.
Welcome to Miami. This is one place where you can find the most extreme dad in the countdown. In these waters, there are males that make the ultimate sacrifice in the name of fatherhood. For here, your mother is also your father. The #1 most extreme dad in the countdown is the seahorse. Male seahorses are extremely romantic. When they're in the mood for love, they'll dance for 3 days. And it's all for a good reason. Dancing gives these guys a huge pot belly. And that's a real turn-on for female seahorses. Dancing close to his massive stomach, it takes only seconds for the female to lay hundreds of eggs inside the male. The seahorse is the #1 most extreme dad in the countdown because it's the male that gets pregnant. That massive stomach is actually a brood pouch. The walls of his belly provide nourishment for the developing eggs inside him. Unfortunately, human males don't have the necessary equipment to get pregnant. But that doesn't stop some from trying.
I'm going to have a baby whether you like it or not.
I didn't know that, Smith. I could have a baby, too.
You, Mr. Williams?
Well, why, if you can have one, I suppose I can.
In 1996, British journalist Adrian Gadden became a human seahorse. To experience what his pregnant partner was going through, he simulated all the symptoms of pregnancy. He drank salt water to suffer from morning sickness. He wore a false belly containing 20 pounds and strapped weights to his ankles. A constant diet of high-fiber foods generated a steady supply of internal gas. And he even suffered tenderness of the chest region by applying clothespins to his nipples. Guys, don't try this at home. After 9 months of this regime, most men would have a healthy respect for those with a bun in the oven. So spare a thought for the male seahorse. He can have 1,000 buns in his swollen oven. And it's 4 long weeks before his contractions begin. Then this extraordinary dad gives birth.
The male seahorse may have labored long and hard to get to #9 in the countdown, but it still didn't push enough to displace the 8th most popular show in our most extreme special. Muscling in above all other contenders was the animal we thought had the most extreme strength.
The most extreme weightlifters in the countdown have been immortalized in museum collections all over the world. Their huge skeletons are a lasting reminder of their awesome power. But don't bother looking in the galleries, because the strongest animal in the countdown is kept in a drawer. It's the rhinoceros beetle. Weight for weight, this massive insect is the strongest animal on the planet. People in Thailand are so amazed by the strength of the male rhino beetle that they trap a female beetle inside a special log to encourage the males to do what they do best. Bets are placed on which beetle is the strongest. The winner gets the girl, and the loser gets thrown off the log. So just how strong is the rhinoceros beetle? Some researchers have estimated that a rhino beetle can lift 800 times its own weight. Imagine if we were as strong as this armor-plated insect. That would be like us lifting a tank, all 65 tons of it. So why is the rhino beetle so strong? Well, for its size, it has far more muscles than we do. These beetles don't have bones. Their muscles are inside their skeleton. So all that armor plating means there's many more places for muscles to attach to. And so, with more muscles inside a strong skeleton, the rhinoceros beetle gets the optimal leverage needed to produce truly extreme strength.
The rhinoceros beetle may have hoisted itself above the seahorse in our race to reveal the most popular episode of The Most Extreme. But there's still no match for a nasty worm that can lay 1 million eggs a day. Nor can they live up to the reputation of an animal tough enough to survive the fallout from a nuclear blast. That's next on Animal Planet's most extreme countdown ever. It's our best of the best. Our countdown of the most popular episodes of The Most Extreme continues. Coming in at number 7 is an animal that was so tough, it hung in longer than all other contenders, which is why it was the obvious choice to be our most extreme survivor.
There's one animal that's so tough, you can find it just about anywhere on the planet. From the bottom of the ocean to the top of the Himalayas. It can survive in hot springs and freezing Arctic wastelands, dry deserts, and humid rainforests. It can even survive in your backyard. Entomologist Ruud Kleinpast is hunting for the world's toughest animal. You can find the most extreme survivor anywhere there's moss or lichen. The only problem is that the world's toughest animal is very, very small. The most extreme survivor in the countdown is the water bear.
It's a real shame that the water bears are so small. They're invisible to the naked eye, but if you could see them, they look cute. Just like little teddy bears.
Normally, this tiny animal waddles around on its 4 pairs of plump little legs, sucking the juices out of mosses and lichens. But when the going gets tough, how can the cute and squishy water bear be tougher than a grizzly bear? The water bear is the most extreme survivor on the planet because when conditions get tough, this animal effectively curls up and dies. It loses 99% of the water in its body and enters a state of suspended animation. Let's say a water bear starts getting too cold. It'll shrink down, retract all its legs, and shut down all systems until conditions improve. Once they're in this state, they're practically indestructible. Imagine if you were as tough as a water bear. If things started getting too cold, all you have to do is curl up and lose virtually all the water in your body. You'd enter a state of suspended animation. Freezing solid would be no problem to a human water bear. Water bears can survive temperatures as low as -328 degrees Fahrenheit. Extreme heat would be no trouble either. Water bears have survived a scorching 303 degrees. Imagine if a human was exposed to radioactive material. You could be 150 miles downwind from a nuclear blast and still get a lethal dose of fallout. That's about 500 rontgens, the units used to measure radiation. The indestructible water bear has been shown to survive 1,000 times that amount. The water bear's toughness is literally out of this world because it could even survive the vacuum of space. So it's no wonder that the soft and squishy water bear is the toughest creature in the countdown.
It takes more than just super survival skills to become number 6 in our countdown of the most popular episodes of the most extreme. One animal certainly delivered more than any other contender, which is why it was our choice for the #1 most extreme birth.
Somewhere in this room is the most extreme breeder on the planet. But this breeder isn't human. It's a parasite. Dining out in the gut of most mammals is the tapeworm. This parasite produces more offspring than any other creature on Earth. If you could give birth like a tapeworm, your children would fill the city of New York in 2 weeks. You'd be giving birth to 1 million babies a day. And if you're infected with a tapeworm, you probably do. Tapeworms are extreme breeders because they have more sexual organs than any other animal. Their body is a long chain of more than 2,000 identical segments. And each segment is almost entirely devoted to producing eggs. That's because the tapeworm's life cycle means that an egg has to be swallowed by another animal. And if we eat meat that's infected by a tapeworm, we get it too. But the chances of that happening are very, very small. That's why tapeworms release so many eggs, in the hope that one might be lucky enough to find a new home. Some of them might end up here, at the National Parasite Collection in Beltsville, Maryland. And if you ask nicely, Dr. Eric Hoberg will show you his favorite tapeworm.
Diphilobothrium here is a human parasite, and this is the largest of the human parasites. This is an intestinal parasite, 75 feet long, and but you may not even know that you're infected with it. Roughly about 50 million people in the world are infected with these parasites.
The tapeworm is one animal that you'd never invite over for dinner. And yet, it's ranked at number 6 in the countdown.